Sometimes you feel them everywhere in a song, in a sudden memory, in the way your chest tightens at dusk, and still, they do not come. That's the ache, presence without presence, thought without action. How do you hold a love that whispers but never knocks? How do you breathe through the emptiness when every silence feels like their name? You felt that invisible line, someone carrying your energy in their heart, but taking no step toward you. It's confusing, painful, and somehow holy. Because you know they feel something. You sense it in those random energetic waves, in moments when your heart races for no reason, or when their memory suddenly surfaces like a wave after days of calm. And yet, nothing. No message, no movement, just the quiet echo of a love that seems to exist only in energy. Why would a soul hold you close in secret and yet never show up? Why do they appear in your dreams, in songs, in your emotions, but not in your life? Is it that you are not enough, or is it something else entirely? Let's start here gently, because this truth can sting before it frees you. In twin flame energy, the other often mirrors what we haven't met inside ourselves. Their silence can be a reflection, not a punishment. When someone thinks of you but remains frozen, they are sometimes looking at a version of themselves that scares them: vulnerability, surrender, or the light they are not yet ready to carry. You are that mirror. You awaken in them the truth of who they are, the parts they've avoided for years. And when the soul isn't ready to face its own reflection, it withdraws, it hesitates, it hides. It's not rejection, it's confrontation with self. And that's why twin flame energy is so different from any other connection. It's not about romance in the ordinary sense. It's a soul process, an invitation to evolution. So when your twin doesn't move, when they think of you but can't reach out, they might not be rejecting you at all. They might be wrestling with their own awakening. But that realization brings its own pain, doesn't it? Because even when you understand, you still feel the absence. And that brings us to the next truth. Let me say this clearly. Their silence does not define you. Your worth isn't measured by someone else's readiness to love. You can be everything: kind, deep, radiant, connected, and still meet someone who cannot meet you back. Not because you're too much, but because they don't yet know how to hold something so real. Their lack of movement is not a reflection of your lack of value. It's a reflection of their internal storm. In the twin flame journey, each soul awakens at its own pace. You may be moving through surrender and healing, while they are still learning through fear and avoidance. That's okay. The journey is designed that way, not to punish you, but to balance both sides. You see, when your twin retreats, it activates something inside you. The ache of not being chosen, the wound of waiting, the question of, what's wrong with me? That pain is sacred, because it shows you where your own love still needs to flow toward yourself. So instead of asking, why won't they come? Ask, what part of me still feels unworthy when they don't? That's where your healing begins. And once you start to reclaim that power, something shifts energetically. You begin to anchor in your own field, and the connection stops feeling like a drain. You begin to breathe again. But how do you do that without closing your heart? That's where boundaries come in. Setting boundaries isn't about blocking love. It's about protecting the garden where it grows. You can sense someone's thoughts, feel their emotions, and still decide not to drown in them. That's energetic mastery. Here's something I teach my clients. When you feel your twin thinking of you, take a breath. Imagine that energy arriving like a wave, and then visualize sending it back with love. Not rejection, just redirection. A silent message. I feel you, but I'm staying grounded. Because if you let that energy spiral inside of you, it can become obsession, overthinking, or emotional exhaustion. Boundaries keep your heart open and balanced. They teach you to love without losing yourself. Remember, boundaries are not walls, they're clarity. They say, I love deeply, but I don't abandon myself for connection. And that inner stability is what transforms your energy field. It changes the dynamic, because when your twin feels your grounded energy, not the vibration of longing, but the vibration of peace, it unconsciously invites them to rise to meet you. But here's the paradox. You can't set boundaries just to make them return. You set them because your soul is ready to stop leaking power. And that brings us to the next sacred practice, detachment. Most people misunderstand detachment. They think it means giving up, turning cold, pretending not to care. But true detachment is the deepest form of devotion. It means you love them, but you trust life more. When you detach, you're not saying, I don't love you. You're saying, I love you and I love myself enough to stop waiting for you. It's choosing faith over fear. It's realizing that love doesn't need constant proof to be real. That you can hold space for a connection and build your own happiness at the same time. Detachment allows the energy between you to breathe again. It releases pressure, expectation, and the constant emotional checking. Are they thinking of me? Will they come? It lets the soul realign naturally. And here's the most beautiful part. Detachment doesn't close the connection, it purifies it. Because you stop holding it hostage to outcome. You start loving from a place of freedom, not fear. Still, there's something that often trips people up here. Signs. The numbers, the songs, the dreams. Let's talk about that. Yes, signs are real. Energetic bonds communicate through synchronicities. You might see their name everywhere, hear your shared song, or feel their energy during quiet moments. But signs are not instructions, they are confirmations of awareness. The danger comes when we start chasing signs instead of truth. When every feather or number becomes a prophecy that they're coming back, our mind replaces presence with fantasy. That's when the twin flame journey turns into emotional waiting instead of conscious evolution. So the next time you see a sign, breathe before you interpret. Ask yourself, does this sign bring me peace, or does it make me restless? If it brings peace, it's guidance. If it makes you anxious, it's attachment disguised as spirituality. Because the universe never speaks in ways that disempower you. Real signs bring calm. They remind you that you're loved, guided, and right where you're meant to be, even if the story isn't unfolding the way your mind expected. And sometimes, signs don't mean reunion. Sometimes they mean redirection. They remind you that this person's energy is still teaching you something: patience, self-trust, surrender. So instead of chasing signs, let them chase you. Let them find you while you're busy living, healing, creating. Because the more you return to your own joy, the less you'll need external confirmation. And that's when compassion begins to bloom for them and for yourself. It's easy to resent someone who fills you so deeply and still stays away. It's easy to think, if they really loved me, they would come. But love and readiness are not the same thing. Many divine masculines, or runners in the twin flame dynamic, carry wounds from lifetimes: fear of abandonment, fear of vulnerability, fear of losing control. When they meet their twin, all those fears rise to the surface. And without emotional tools, their instinct is to run. So they do love you. They think of you. They replay moments. They dream of you. They feel the bond. But their soul says, not yet. I need to stabilize first. And the more you chase or wait energetically, the more pressure they feel. Because your energy magnifies what they're not ready to face. That's why compassion is key, not pity. but sacred understanding. Compassion frees you. It says, I see your pain, and I don't need to fix it. I trust your journey as I trust mine. And that level of acceptance is what brings you closer to divine union, not with them first, but with yourself. But what does self-union really mean? It means you stop measuring love by proximity and start measuring it by peace. Every twin flame journey eventually leads here homecoming. Not always reunion with the other, but reunion with your own soul. You begin to see that this whole connection was never meant to break you. It was meant to awaken you. To remind you that love was never something to be earned or chased. It was always the essence of who you are. You start doing small things again, reading, creating, laughing, reconnecting with nature, or simply enjoying your solitude. And little by little, the ache softens. You stop checking your phone. You stop asking for signs. You start feeling grateful even for the silence. Because now you understand. Silence isn't emptiness. It's integration. It's the universe helping you digest everything you've felt. It's where your soul expands beyond needing confirmation. And in that space, something miraculous happens. Your vibrations changes. You attract peace, creativity, and abundance. You begin to notice new connections, new people, new opportunities, all reflections of your inner healing. And sometimes in that energy, your twin does return. But this time, you're no longer waiting for them to complete you. You're already whole. And that changes everything. Because reunion can only happen between two whole souls, not two halves seeking completion. And even if they don't come back in this lifetime, you'll know nothing was wasted. Because they awakened the version of you who finally remembered her power. If you're still in the phase where the silence feels unbearable, take this as your sign to breathe. You're not crazy. You're not delusional. The connection is real. But real doesn't always mean meant to continue right now. It means your soul's meant for evolution, not for validation. It means the universe trusted you enough to hold an energy this deep, and that's an honor. So tonight, instead of asking, why aren't they coming, ask, what is life trying to teach me through this? That question will open doors that waiting never could. Maybe this season is about remembering your worth. Maybe it's about creating, exploring, healing. Or maybe it's about preparing your energy for the next phase of your journey, one that feels lighter, freer, clearer. Either way, this isn't the end. It's a passage, and you're walking it beautifully. The truest advice I can give you, as a friend and as someone who walks this path too, is simple. Choose you. Every single time. Choose practices that anchor you, meditation, journaling, breathwork. Choose people who remind you of your light. Choose mornings where your peace doesn't depend on a message that may or may not arrive. Choose to build a life so full that even love cannot take away your center. When you stop making your happiness conditional on someone else's readiness, you step into your divine power. You become magnetic, radiant, whole. And that's the vibration that either draws your twin back in a healed way or brings a soulmate who matches your new frequency. Either way, you win because you didn't lose yourself. You chose yourself, and that's the most sacred act of love there is. Rise into your own light. Your presence is your greatest love offering. Trust the quiet. Absence can be a doorway, not a sentence. Let every silence guide you back home to yourself. If these words spoke to your heart, I invite you to stay close to this community. Subscribe, share this message with someone who needs it, and remember, we walk this twin flame path together. Step by step, word by word, breath by breath. because your awakening is never lonely. You are loved, guided, and exactly where you're meant to be.